Welcome, dear soul. Take a deep breath and feel the quiet presence of God surrounding you right now. Even in the moments when your heart felt heavy, when the goodbyes seemed permanent, know that you are not abandoned. There's a purpose far greater than your understanding guiding every step, even through the pain of separation. God sees the spaces between you and them, and He fills those spaces with meaning, with gentle preparation for a love that was never lost. You may have thought the story ended when they walked away, when the doors closed and silence took their place. But God's purpose is patient, unseen, and far-reaching, quietly weaving threads that will bring hearts together in a time only. He knows. Even now, as you listen, He is at work, orchestrating moments, nudging circumstances, and softening hearts so that what was meant to be will return to its place. Do not fear the gaps, the absence, the loneliness, for in God's timing, absence is only preparation, and separation is only a passage to reunion. You may feel doubt, wondering how a heart that once let go could return. Let me assure you, divine timing transforms what seems impossible into a quiet, sacred miracle. Every step they took away, every pause, every silence, was a chapter written, not by loss but by purpose. God's love never fails, and even when human hearts falter, His plan holds steady. He knows exactly when to bring them back, when to align your paths, and when to restore what was always meant to be. Even the tears you shed were not wasted. They were streams that softened your soul for the love that is coming. God does not move haphazardly. He moves with precision, patience, and an understanding of your deepest needs. Trust that His timing is perfect, even when your mind struggles to see it. You may carry questions, wondering if they still think of you, if their heart remembers. Know this, the heart never forgets what is rooted in God's purpose. Love written in His plan is not broken by distance, by choices, or by time. It only waits, quietly, tenderly, preparing to return when both hearts are ready to receive it fully. You are not alone in waiting. Many souls walk this path, guided by the unseen hand of God toward reconciliation, toward a love restored. Even now He whispers hope into your spirit, reminding you that endings are rarely final, and beginnings often come after the longest pauses. Do not rush the process, do not demand answers, and do not despair in absence. Instead, lean into stillness and allow God to nurture patience, faith, and a quiet assurance that all things are moving toward the heart's deepest desire. If this message brings you peace, consider subscribing so that more souls can find this gentle guidance. Share your reflections or prayer requests in the comments so we can hold one another in this sacred space. If you know someone who has waited for a heart to return, share this video with them. A word of comfort is often the bridge we cannot see. And if your spirit feels moved by this message, a humble super thanks helps continue this work of peace, allowing this love-infused guidance to reach more hearts in need. Welcome back, dear soul. Take a moment to settle into the quiet of your heart and feel the gentle presence of God holding you. Even when separation felt like an ending, even when you questioned if their return was possible, know that divine purpose has never left your side. Sometimes, the heart's longing is the very space where God begins to work unseen miracles. Each step you took apart, each night spent wondering, each prayer whispered quietly, all of it has been part of the preparation. God's timing is precise. He does not force, but He orchestrates with a perfect wisdom that human eyes cannot perceive. You may have feared they would never come back, that the door had closed forever. But God moves where hearts cannot, and even when human will says no, His purpose says yes. Trust the silence. It is fertile ground where God plants the seeds of reconciliation, of reunion, of love restored. You are not to rush or demand. The heart must be ready, the souls aligned, and the purpose fulfilled. And even in the quiet, even in the waiting, God whispers hope into your spirit. He reminds you that endings are often beginnings in disguise. He assures you that loss is rarely permanent when the intention was always divine. Every step they took away was part of the journey toward coming back. Every moment you felt alone was a moment that allowed God to soften hearts and prepare both of you for a love renewed. Do not question the absence. It was never wasted. Do not measure by time. God's purpose is not bound by the calendar of human expectation. The heart that once said goodbye carries the same capacity to return when the soul is guided back by God's hand. You may feel uncertainty, but remember, even in uncertainty, God's plan unfolds perfectly. You may feel unworthy of their return, but God sees your heart, He sees your growth, and He knows the love that has endured. You may wonder if forgiveness is needed, if barriers are too high, if wounds too deep. Trust that God heals, softens, and restores the spaces that seem impossible to mend. The love that is guided by Him cannot be thwarted. Even human pride, hesitation, or fear cannot resist the quiet insistence of divine purpose. When the time is right, when both hearts have learned, healed, and opened fully, God will bring them back. He will align circumstances, guide conversations, and create encounters that are too perfect to be coincidence. The reunion will not be forced. It will be gentle, natural, sacred, and guided by God's hand. And in that return, you will see clearly that the separation was never punishment, it was preparation. It was a divine pause to nurture souls, to teach patience, and to deepen trust. Let your heart receive this truth. You are being prepared to love fully, with clarity and freedom. And the one who comes back is being prepared as well. The love that arrives after waiting is tender, wise, and enduring. It is not hurried. It is not fragile. It is rooted in purpose. Feel the peace of this knowledge flowing into your spirit. Know that God's purpose is patient, and His love is unwavering. Even when circumstances seem confusing, even when life pulls you in different directions, He is the unseen force that draws the hearts back together. You may have been tempted to give up, to close the door, to silence the longing. Do not blame yourself. These feelings are part of the divine process. Every tear, every longing thought, every quiet prayer, they have been heard, and they are part of the work God is doing in your heart. Even now, imagine the moment of reunion, soft and unhurried, hearts recognizing each other as if no time had passed at all. God has been preparing this, even when your mind could not see it. The beauty of His plan is that it is not forced, but invited. When the timing is right, everything will fall into place. Conversations, encounters, glances that speak volumes, touches that heal, and love that finally feels complete. If these words touch your soul, consider subscribing so this guidance can continue to reach hearts who are waiting. Share your reflections or prayer requests in the comments, and allow this space to be one of healing and hope. If someone you know longs for love restored, share this message with them. Your sharing may be part of God's purpose. And if your spirit feels moved, a humble, super thanks helps this work continue, so more souls may feel the gentle guidance of God's love and purpose. Even in the days when the return seems distant, hold faith. God's timing is a tapestry, threads of patience, forgiveness, growth, and love all woven into a perfect design. You may see only pieces, but He sees the full picture. Your waiting is not in vain. Your prayers are not unheard. Your heart's longing is recognized and held sacred. The one who left will return, not because you forced it, not because of circumstance alone, but because God's purpose cannot be denied. Every whisper of your soul, every quiet longing, every tender hope is a signal of God's work in motion. And when they return, it will feel as though time itself has folded to bring you back together exactly when you were meant to meet again. Trust the quiet work. Trust the unseen hands guiding you. Trust that even when human hearts falter, God's love prevails. Know that the separation you endured was never wasted, for it prepared you both for the sacredness of what is to come. Welcome, dear soul. Sit quietly and feel the presence of God surrounding you, as though His arms are holding both your heart and theirs. The waiting, the longing, the moments of doubt, they are all coming together now in divine completion. God's purpose has never wavered, and now you are seeing the fruition of His patient, perfect timing. They are returning, not as they once were, but as the people they were always meant to become. The separation was not punishment, it was preparation. It was the space where souls grew, where hearts softened, where lessons were learned, and faith was strengthened. Even when it felt like goodbye, God was quietly weaving the path that would bring them back to you. Feel the relief in your chest, the quiet joy that rises from knowing His plan is unfolding. Every step they take toward you is guided by a hand you cannot see, yet can feel deeply in your spirit. This is a sacred moment, a meeting orchestrated by divine love. Do not rush it with human expectations. Let it arrive naturally, tenderly, as God intends. When they appear in your life again, you will sense the subtle changes, the growth, the wisdom gained from the time apart. And in that moment, all questions will be answered. All doubts will be softened. All doubts will be softened. All fears will dissolve in the certainty that God's purpose cannot fail. You may notice the familiar warmth in their eyes, a spark that never truly went out, rekindled by divine guidance. You may feel a quiet recognition, a knowing that this return was written long before time began. The heart that once left is returning as the heart that was always meant to stay. Every word exchanged, every glance shared, will carry the weight of patience, faith, and God's unwavering hand. This is not a reunion of circumstance alone. It is a union of purpose, of divine alignment, and of love that has been refined through time and trust. Even the smallest gestures, a smile, a touch, a shared silence, will speak volumes of God's orchestration. Do not seek to control the timing. Do not demand explanations. Allow the sacred rhythm of reunion to flow naturally, allowing your soul to receive what has been prepared for you. This return is a confirmation, a sacred whisper from God that He has been at work even when you could not see it. Feel gratitude rising in your heart for the patience He asked of you and the wisdom He granted you along the way. The love that arrives now is tender, yet steadfast. It is gentle, yet unwavering. It is a reflection of the divine purpose that never left your side. And as they stay, as they settle back into your life, you will feel the depth of God's faithfulness. The one who once walked away now walks beside you, aligned with His plan, ready to share a love that has been tested, healed, and restored. If this message brings you peace, please subscribe so more souls can feel God's gentle guidance. Share your reflections or prayer requests in the comments, and allow this sacred space to hold your heart and intentions. If you know someone waiting for love restored, share this video. You may be the messenger of God's reassurance. And if your spirit feels moved, a humble super thanks supports this work, allowing these messages to reach more hearts and continue producing sacred, peaceful guidance. Notice how naturally trust and love have returned. Notice the subtle joy that fills your spirit when you feel their presence again. The reunion is not rushed. It is precisely timed, orchestrated by God's infinite wisdom. Every conversation flows with ease. Every silence carries comfort. Every shared glance reflects the divine plan that brought you both back together. Do not take this moment for granted. It is sacred. It is holy. It is the realization that God's purpose cannot be thwarted by absence, fear, or time. You may have questioned the distance, feared the loss, and wondered if it was too late. But see now that love guided by God's hand is never too late. It is not fragile. It is not fleeting. It is enduring, resilient, and divinely aligned. You are being gifted more than a return. You are being given a love strengthened by patience, tempered by trust, and refined by faith. And as you walk together again, know that every challenge faced before was preparing you both to embrace this love fully. Let your heart breathe. Let your soul rest in the knowledge that this was never a coincidence. This is God's purpose fulfilled, His promise visible, His love tangible. Even the moments of doubt you carried are transformed into gratitude for the path that led you here. The reunion is a testament that when God is at work, no separation is permanent, no goodbye is final, and no heart is beyond His reach. Feel the peace in knowing that every step of the journey was purposeful, every moment of waiting was sacred, and every heartbeat that longed for return was heard and guided by Him. This is the sacred beauty of love restored, a love that was always meant to stay. If this sacred message resonates with you, subscribe to continue receiving peaceful spiritual guidance. Share your thoughts, reflections, or prayer requests in the comments, creating a space of healing and hope. Send this video to someone who needs reassurance, so that they too can feel God's presence and purpose. And if your heart feels moved, your humble support through super thanks helps continue this work, allowing more souls to encounter peace, hope, and love restored through God's timing. Rest in this truth: the one who left has returned. Not by chance, not by force, but by the unwavering hand of God. The heart that said goodbye is now home. The love that felt distant is now tangible, present, and blessed. Your journey of waiting, trusting, and hoping has led to this sacred moment. God's purpose has brought them back, and this time, they are here to stay. Feel the joy, the relief, and the peace in your heart. Breathe it in, let it settle, let it transform you. And as you walk together, know that every step is guided, every moment sacred, and every heartbeat aligned with His divine love. Welcome, dear soul. Take a slow, deep breath and feel God's quiet presence enveloping you in peace. You have witnessed the return, the sacred reunion, and now you are being called to walk fully in the love that has been restored. The journey does not end with their arrival. It begins anew, grounded in divine purpose and tender care. God has not only returned a heart to you, He has returned a chance for growth, for healing, and for a love that reflects His will. Each day together is a sacred gift, a moment to honor what He has prepared through patience and trust. Do not take for granted the small, quiet ways that God shows His faithfulness: in a smile, a kind word, a gentle touch, a glance that says, "I am here." Even ordinary days are now infused with divine significance. The love you share is Bente, now stronger, tempered by waiting, refined by patience, and nurtured by faith. Notice the subtle miracles that fill your life together: moments of understanding, moments of forgiveness, moments of joy that feel deeper than before. This is God's purpose unfolding in the ordinary. He has brought you both back together, not merely to return to the past, but to create a new sacred chapter, a life that reflects His guidance and love. Let go of fears of imperfection or uncertainty. This love is no longer fragile. It has been tested and strengthened. Even disagreements, even challenges, are now opportunities to grow closer, to trust more fully, to love more deeply. Remember always that God is in the details. The quiet moments, the shared laughter, the gestures that go unnoticed by the world, these are the threads of His divine tapestry. And when doubts arise, when old fears whisper, return to the truth. He has orchestrated this union, and His hand continues to guide it. Do not measure by human standards, or try to predict every step. Walk in faith, in gratitude, and in awareness of His constant presence. Each day together is a chance to honor what has been restored, to cherish what has been returned, and to nurture a love that will endure. Even in the challenges of life, when routine or fatigue may dull your senses, remember that God's purpose is alive in the heartbeat of your relationship. It is reflected in the patience you extend, the kindness you offer, and the trust you carry. The love that has been brought back is sacred. It is holy. It is a living testament to divine timing and faithfulness. Feel the peace that arises from knowing that this union is not accidental. It is the fulfillment of a purpose that began long before you could understand it. And as you walk together, remember to celebrate both the extraordinary and the ordinary. Each shared meal, each quiet conversation, each moment of support is an act of reverence for the work God has done. If these words bring calm to your heart, subscribe so more souls may experience this peaceful guidance. Share your reflections or prayer requests in the comments, creating a sacred space for healing and hope. If you know someone whose love has been restored, share this message with them. It may remind them of God's faithfulness. And if your heart is moved, a humble super thanks allows this work to continue, helping more souls encounter the peace and love that God offers. Now, breathe deeply and feel gratitude rising in your spirit. This union is not only about being together, it is about walking in purpose, growing spiritually, and honoring the divine plan that brought you here. Take time to listen, to understand, to nurture the love that has returned. Every act of patience, every moment of compassion, every choice to forgive or to serve one another strengthens the bond God has restored. Even small gestures carry divine weight. Even quiet mornings together are imbued with holy significance. Let your heart be attuned to the lessons this reunion brings. You are learning, together, to trust fully, to love without fear, and to walk in alignment with God's will. And as you do, notice how your spirit feels lighter, calmer, and more attuned to His guidance. The love that has returned is meant to elevate your soul, not just fill a void. It is a sacred space where both of you can grow closer to God while growing closer to each other. Remember that communication is not only about words, but about listening with the heart, observing with care, and responding with grace. Every moment of understanding deepens the sacred bond you now share. Even in disagreements, seek the divine perspective, remembering that God's purpose is to strengthen, not to harm, to heal, not to break. This is a love that has been returned to you with intention, with preparation, and with sacred timing. Cherish it, protect it, nurture it. Walk daily in gratitude for the miracle of reunion. Every shared experience, every kind word, every act of patience is a prayer in motion, a testament to God's enduring faithfulness. And as you continue together, know that He is not done guiding you. Every day is an opportunity to grow, to bless each other, and to walk in alignment with His purpose. Even ordinary tasks become sacred when done with intention and love. Even the quietest nights carry the presence of divine orchestration. Feel the depth of this blessing, a love that returned, not by chance, but by God's perfect purpose. Welcome, dear soul. Take a quiet moment and let God's presence settle gently around you, filling the spaces where doubt or fear once lingered. You have seen the return. You have felt the sacred reunion. Now it is time to walk fully in the love that God has restored, allowing it to transform your spirit, your heart, and your life together. Every day you share is a continuation of His purpose, a living testament to patience, trust, and divine orchestration. Even ordinary moments, when lived with awareness and gratitude, carry the sacred weight of His guidance. Notice how your hearts respond to each other now, tenderly, openly, with a wisdom born of waiting and of faith. You may feel joy more deeply than ever before, not because everything is perfect, but because God has returned what was always meant to be. Even challenges now feel different. They are no longer threats to your bond, but opportunities to lean into grace, to forgive, and to grow closer together. Let your heart learn to see the sacred in the mundane, in shared meals, in quiet conversations, in moments of support and understanding. These are the threads God uses to weave the tapestry of a love that is enduring and holy. Even the moments When life feels ordinary, are infused with divine purpose when shared with a heart returned by God's hand. Do not underestimate the power of presence, of simply being together with intention and care. Your love now is not only for each other. It is a reflection of God's faithfulness, His timing, and His divine orchestration. Every smile, every word, every glance carries the imprint of His purpose. You may feel at times that the joy is fragile, that it could slip away, but know that this love has been strengthened through waiting, refined through patience, and sanctified through divine care. Trust the subtle guidance of God in every choice you make together. Trust Him when life calls you to patience. Trust Him when moments of tension or miscommunication arise. He is present in every act of kindness, every shared moment, and every breath of love between you. Even the simplest gestures, a touch, a note, a kind word, are sacred acts when guided by divine purpose. And as you walk forward together, let gratitude be the heartbeat of your days. Gratitude for the return, gratitude for the lessons learned, gratitude for the faith that carried you through moments of doubt. Allow this gratitude to shape the way you speak to one another, the way you forgive, the way you hold each other. God's purpose does not end with reunion. It continues in every act of love, every choice to nurture the bond, and every moment of spiritual alignment. Feel the quiet joy that arises from shared faith, from shared hope, from shared trust in His plan. Even in silence, there is sacred communication, a recognition that hearts returned by God's hand speak a language beyond words. The love you now share is alive, breathing, and filled with divine intention. It is a love that strengthens you, challenges you to grow, and nurtures your spiritual alignment. Even when life is uncertain, even when the world feels heavy, know that God's purpose in this union is unshakable. Every challenge becomes a sacred lesson. Every act of care becomes a prayer. Every shared moment becomes an offering to His divine will. Feel the depth of this blessing, a love restored, a purpose fulfilled, a divine plan realized in ways that bring peace, joy, and spiritual growth. If this message fills your heart with peace, please subscribe to continue receiving spiritual guidance. Share your reflections or prayer requests in the comments, so we can hold one another in God's love and encouragement. If you know someone who longs for love restored, share this video with them. It may remind them of divine faithfulness. And if your spirit is moved, a humble super thanks helps continue this work, allowing more souls to experience God's purpose and peaceful guidance. Now, feel the love that has returned and consider how to live intentionally within it. Every day is an invitation to nurture, to honor, to bless each other, and to grow in spiritual alignment. The love that returned to you is a living testament to patience, prayer, and trust in God's timing. Do not let it be taken for granted. Do not let it fade into routine or distraction. Instead, tend to it as you would a sacred flame, with care, attention, and devotion. Even small acts of understanding, forgiveness, and generosity strengthen the bond that God has restored. Notice how your growth together mirrors your growth individually, each of you becoming closer to God as you become closer to each other. And when life challenges your connection, remember that the foundation of this love is divine. It was not restored by coincidence, luck, or human effort alone. It was brought back by God's hand, guided by His purpose, and sanctified by His love. Allow this truth to shape your daily choices, your words, your gestures, and your intentions. Every shared meal, every quiet conversation, every act of service to one another is a reflection of divine purpose at work. Even disagreements can be sacred if approached with humility, grace, and awareness of God's guiding hand. Trust Him to continue guiding your hearts, your conversations, and your shared journey. This restored love is a gift, a miracle, and a reflection of God's faithfulness. Feel it deeply, cherish it fully. Walk with it humbly, gratefully, and with intention. And as you do, notice how it nurtures your spirit, strengthens your bond, and aligns both of you more closely with His divine plan. Welcome, dear soul. Take a slow breath and let God's quiet presence settle around you, filling your heart with peace and assurance. The return has happened. The love has been restored. Now comes the sacred work of walking together fully in the purpose that brought you back to each other. God does not leave His blessings unguarded. He asks for your hearts to remain open, tender, and aligned with His will. Every day you share is a chance to deepen trust, to nurture understanding, and to reflect His love to each other. Even ordinary routines are infused with significance when approached with awareness and gratitude. Notice how small gestures, a kind word, a listening ear, a gentle touch, carry divine weight. Every act of care strengthens the bond that God has restored. Every moment of patience becomes a prayer in motion. Even when life feels heavy, when work, responsibilities, or fatigue cloud your attention, let your hearts remain attuned to His guidance. Do not measure love by grand gestures alone. The quiet, consistent presence of care and devotion is sacred in His eyes. You may face challenges together. You may encounter misunderstandings or moments of tension. See these not as threats, but as opportunities to grow, to forgive, and to lean on the guidance of God's hand. Every lesson, every test, every challenge is a chance to strengthen the spiritual alignment of your union. Remember that the love returned is not fragile. It has been tempered by patience, waiting, and divine orchestration. Do not be afraid of imperfection, for God's purpose works through human hearts, not human perfection. Even in moments of uncertainty, His guidance is steady. Even when the world is chaotic, His plan is unshakable. Walk each day with gratitude for the miracle of return, allowing that gratitude to shape your words, your actions, and your choices. Even silence can be sacred when hearts are aligned, when trust is complete, and when God's purpose is honored. Celebrate the ordinary as extraordinary, for in each shared meal, quiet conversation, or glance of recognition, His presence is alive. Notice the subtle ways God continues to guide your hearts together through shared growth, mutual encouragement, and aligned aspirations. Even moments of stillness carry His whisper, reminding you that every heartbeat shared is part of His divine design. Do not let familiarity dull the sacredness of what has been restored. Tend to your love as you would a sacred flame, with attention, devotion, and reverence. Every act of kindness, every gesture of patience, every choice to serve or forgive becomes a prayer, a blessing, and a testimony of God's faithfulness. And as your lives intertwine, see the beauty in the journey, that God's purpose is not only about returning hearts, but about guiding them to live fully in alignment with His will. Your restored love is a living reflection of His timing, His patience, and His grace. Allow it to shape your character, deepen your spiritual awareness, and strengthen your connection to both Him and each other. If this message brings peace to your heart, please subscribe to continue receiving sacred guidance. Share your reflections or prayer requests in the comments, creating a space of connection and support. If you know someone seeking reassurance, share this video. It may remind them of God's unwavering faithfulness. And if your spirit is moved, a humble super thanks helps this work continue, allowing more hearts to experience divine love, patience, and guidance. Even now, feel the quiet power of God's purpose in your relationship. Every act of attention, every choice to love with intention, strengthens the bond that He has restored. You may find that growth comes in unexpected ways, through challenges, through quiet reflection, through mutual encouragement. See each moment as sacred, a chance to live in alignment with His will. Even the simplest gestures carry the imprint of divine orchestration. Trust that your love, guided by God, will continue to deepen, evolve, and flourish over time. Do not compare it to what you expected or imagined, for God's design is beyond human understanding. Walk each day with humility, gratitude, and awareness that this restored love is a living testament to His faithfulness. Even when life feels ordinary or routine, remember that His purpose is present in every detail. Each shared morning, each conversation, each act of care is a sacred opportunity to honor the love that has returned. Even disagreements, when approached with patience, understanding, and faith, can strengthen your bond rather than weaken it. Trust the process of growing together, for God's purpose is not only in the return, but in the daily nurturing of hearts. Aligned with Him, celebrate the small victories, the shared joys, the quiet moments of connection, for they are threads in the tapestry of a love guided by divine purpose. Even in silence, feel the depth of presence, the assurance that God continues to orchestrate your journey together. The love returned to you is a gift, a sacred trust, and a reflection of His enduring faithfulness. Let it inspire you to walk with intention, to speak with kindness, and to act with love. Every day you live in this restored relationship is an opportunity to deepen your connection to Him, to each other, and to the purpose that brought you back together. Welcome, dear soul. Take a quiet breath and feel the presence of God enfolding your heart, steadying your spirit, and illuminating the path of love before you. The return has already occurred. The love has been restored, and now you are invited to live fully in the sacred harmony that God has prepared. Each day together is a blessing, a reflection of His timing, and an opportunity to walk hand in hand with divine purpose. Even the simplest moments, a glance, a laugh, a shared silence, carry the weight of His presence and intention. Do not take these moments lightly, for they are threads in the tapestry of a love refined by patience and orchestrated by Him. Even when challenges arise, when misunderstandings or fears surface, remember that God is guiding both hearts, shaping your responses with wisdom and grace. The love you now share is not fragile. It is steady, nurtured by waiting, strengthened through faith, and aligned with purpose. Notice how each act of attention, kindness, and care reinforces the sacred bond that has returned. Even the quietest mornings together, the softest conversations, carry His fingerprint, reminding you of His constant guidance. Trust that God is at work in the details, in the unspoken words, and in the shared glances that reflect understanding and tenderness. Even moments of disagreement or challenge are opportunities to grow closer, to lean into patience, and to practice grace. Your love is no longer solely human. It is infused with the divine, elevated by purpose, and sanctified by trust. Let your hearts walk together not only in affection, but in reverence for the work God has done. Even routine tasks, when approached together with intention, are sacred acts of shared life and faith. Do not fear the ordinary, for God's purpose shines brightest in everyday devotion, small gestures, and the quiet rhythm of life shared with love. Celebrate the journey you are on together, not only the moments of reunion, but every step since then, every shared lesson, every act of care. Even as time passes, remember that God continues to weave the threads of your relationship with precision and love. The love that has returned is alive, breathing, and continually guided by Him. Even when human eyes see only routine or monotony, His hand is present, shaping your hearts, guiding your steps, and deepening your connection. Take time each day to notice the miracles around you, the moments of laughter, understanding, support, and patience, for they are signs of His ongoing purpose. Even when life feels uncertain or heavy, let gratitude for the restored love rise in your heart, reminding you that nothing is wasted in God's plan. Trust in the subtle ways He continues to guide you, through intuition, circumstance, or quiet nudges in your spirit. Even silence between you can be sacred, a space where understanding, patience, and divine love are felt more deeply than words can express. Let your actions, your words, and your thoughts be infused with gratitude, reverence, and care for this love returned by God's hand. Even when challenges arise, approach them with humility, compassion, and trust, knowing that He uses these moments to strengthen, not break, your bond. Feel the depth of this blessing, a love that returned, a purpose fulfilled, and a divine plan that continues to unfold. Every heartbeat shared, every choice made with intention, every act of service and care is a living testimony of His faithfulness. Even in the ordinary days, the extraordinary is revealed when hearts are aligned with divine purpose. Walk together with intention, knowing that this love is a sacred gift, a reflection of God's enduring care, and a foundation for continued spiritual growth. Even when life changes or challenges arise, your bond, guided by His hand, will continue to thrive and flourish. Feel the peace that comes from understanding that the love restored is more than a return. It is a living, breathing work of God's design. If these words fill your soul with peace, subscribe to continue receiving gentle spiritual guidance. Share your reflections or prayer requests in the comments, creating a sacred space of connection and encouragement. If you know someone waiting for God's purpose to unfold in love, share this video. It may remind them of divine faithfulness. And if your heart is moved, a humble, super thanks allows this work to continue, helping more hearts encounter God's peaceful guidance and restorative love even now. Feel the quiet depth of God's presence in your relationship. Every choice to love with patience, every act of kindness, and every moment of forgiveness strengthens the sacred connection returned to you. Notice how your growth together mirrors your growth individually, each of you becoming closer to God as you grow, closer to each other. Even the simplest daily moments, when approached with awareness and reverence, become part of the ongoing miracle of His purpose. Trust Him in every conversation, every decision, every step you take together, for His hand continues to guide, shape, and nurture your love. Even when life feels heavy or routine, remember that His purpose is active, and every shared moment carries divine significance. Celebrate the ordinary, the quiet, and the subtle, for they are the spaces where God's presence is most felt. Even moments of disagreement, if met with grace and humility, become opportunities for spiritual growth, deeper understanding, and enduring love. Feel gratitude rise in your heart for the return, for the restoration, for the ongoing work of God in your lives. Allow this gratitude to shape your interactions, your intentions, and the life you share together. Even when days pass and challenges appear, know that this love is anchored in purpose, strengthened by divine guidance, and sanctified by trust. Walk each day with awareness, reverence, and joy, embracing the love that has returned and continues to grow under God's care. Even when uncertainty whispers, remember that His purpose is steady, His love is enduring, and the bond restored is a living testament to His faithfulness. Feel the peace, the security, and the sacredness of this love. A love that has returned, is rooted in purpose, and is guided by God for all the days to come.